Let's give Apple a round of applause for finally catching up. What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building, and no, I did not choose my last name. And I'm pretty excited about this video because Apple has finally caught up to basically the rest of the world, or every other cell phone, if you want to say. Now, that's not me getting down on them or saying that they're not a great company or anything like that. I've made plenty of videos about Apple already. You can go check those out. I don't hate on them. It's just that their future and what they decide to do with their products and phones is a little bit iffy and sketchy, but that's a whole other topic. WWDC 2019 just happened. To be quite honest with you, I honestly forgot it was today. Completely forgot. That's a different story. We're gonna move on. Now, before we go through all these, I just want to let you guys know I'm gonna be skimming through a lot of the small features and focusing mainly on the cool / very important features. So a lot of these I'm just gonna talk about. Some of them I left out. There are a lot of small little things, but I do want to focus on the big things, and you'll know them because I'll point them out to you. First thing we have to talk about is the new redesigned Apple TV app, which should suggest individual TV shows and movies based off of that specific person. It's also going to give you a full screen live preview of that show. There is also a few Apple Music updates. The Apple Music now shows you in sync lyrics along with the timestamps. So previously what you would do is you would choose a song on Apple Music, you would go down to the bottom, and it would show you all the lyrics, but now it actually shows you the lyrics in time with the actual song that's going on, instead of just a bunch of gibberish down there and having to figure out which word is what. And the other cool thing about this is now the Apple Arcade has extended functionality to the Xbox controllers as well as the PlayStation controllers. So that made me super happy. I'm really excited to see that. To be honest, I don't really use Apple Arcade. I didn't even know about it. But the fact that they now have added functionality for the PlayStation and the Xbox is a super amazing thing. The other cool thing that I really want to focus on is the inclusion and updated version of the watchOS update. So now with this watchOS, you are going to be able to independently have Apple Watch apps and not have to be so dependent upon your iPhone having to be near you or needing to have the iPhone for anything else. It's literally independent of the iPhone. It now has its own app store. You can now stream audio and use it as a voice recorder. It's pretty much its own independent device now, and you don't have to worry about it being dependent on the iPhone anymore. I thought that was really cool, and it brings a lot of functionality to the Apple Watch that they were lacking previously, and it's really good to see that they implemented that into the Apple Watch. Now, another great thing that I'm not sure if it's going to make too much of a difference or people are really going to notice it is the overall speed performance of this iOS 13 update. Now, we should see a 30% faster Face ID unlocking, as well as a 50% smaller download file and up to 60% smaller. And finally, this is the reason why I even made this video. You guys, we are finally getting a dark mode. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you know previously that I said this. Now, this one is going to be on the iPad as well as the iPhone. I'm not even sure if it's actually going to end up coming with this iOS 13 update, because this has been on the wish list for so many past iterations of iOS, and that is dark mode. And it's good to see now that we are finally getting this dark mode. I feel like I said finally 15 times, but we are finally getting this dark mode. There have been jailbreaks on it. There have been people rumoring about it. There have been people who have been wanting this for a long time. There is a sort of dark mode-ish theme that you can go into the settings, and it was like a contrast mode, and it wasn't necessarily the same. It would make things look a different color, and it just wasn't the same. But now that we actually have it, and this update is so nice. It looks amazing. But one thing I didn't really like is the fact that they tried to make it seem very revolutionary. Like this dark mode is like gonna revolutionize the entire smartphone industry, and there's nothing else like it. Like they hyped it up so much. Not that it's not cool. Still amazing. Still looks superb, and I definitely want to get an iPhone just for that reason. But I don't like how they made it seem like they're the only company to do this, and they're so innovative for doing it, which was a very reoccurring thing if you decided to watch the entire WWDC conference. Now, a lot of people who use the keyboard, which is pretty much everyone, they've also added a new swipe functionality to the keyboard. So now you don't have to peck at your screen like a caveman. You can actually swipe and type like that, which has actually been available for some keyboards like Gboard, if you guys don't know about that. They've now added that to the system keyboard, if I'm not mistaken, so now you can swipe and just peck away like a caveman if you want to. Now, another small thing is the Apple Maps update. Now, they didn't really touch too much on it, and I'm not sure if this is the only thing that they've updated about it. Hopefully, they've updated more. but they've updated it to give you a sort of Google Earth like experience where you can tap in on a specific place and do what they call look around, which basically does what it says. It allows you to look around the area, and it allows you for which they, I guess, think is a big deal, but that is there for you guys if you ever want to do that. Now, this is another big feature that a lot of people probably aren't going to care about, but I myself am very appreciative of this. So a lot of pretty much every app that you're going to go into, you're going to have to sign in for something. Even if you only plan on using the app once or whatever the app is, you're gonna have to sign into something. With the exclusion of some video games and things that you can download on the App Store, you are going to have to sign in at some point or another. And what Apple decided to do, they are going to now implement their own sign-in service called Sign In with Apple ID. I feel like that makes such a huge difference. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a one-time thing to where you sign in once with one app and it signs in for the rest of them, or if it's just a one-tap sign-in for every single app and you don't have to individually put in your Google information or your Facebook information like you would previously have to do. Hopefully that's not the case, and it's just you sign in one time with the app and you don't have to fill anything out. That would be super nice. But this functionality is added with this update as well, and I'm very excited about this one. Now, how this works is that when you tap that sign in with Apple ID, it's going to scan your face for Face ID, and I'm assuming with older devices it's going to use your Touch ID to confirm it, but that's all you do. You tap in, it scans your face, it scans your fingerprint, and you're in. You don't have to do any further tweaking, any further information to add. It's just that simple, and I completely 100% think that every other smartphone should jump on this because that's a very big deal. It's just very simple and easy to use. Now, this also wouldn't be an update if they didn't include some kind of feature to memojis or emojis. So with this update, we are getting memoji stickers. So basically, if you are one of the 5 or 7 people who decided to make a memoji for yourself and actually still continue to use it, they now have memoji stickers, which are basically emojis but with your memoji instead. So if you want to use that, that's there for you. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know how many people are actually going to use this. I feel like actually more people might use this more than they think just because it's customizable and it's actually personal, but that's just me. Now this is also another big thing. They actually redesigned the Photos and the Camera app. Now, they said that you can actually see the information of the photo, which I'm assuming they mean shutter speed, white balance, and ISO and everything like that inside the Camera app now. And now you can rotate video.
You can rotate a video.
They made a very big deal about that. And this is the other part that I was explaining earlier about a recurring theme of them sounding very innovative. They made it sound like this was the most innovative thing that you can ever do in a camera app, is be able to rotate a video. If you have been on iPhone in your entire life, this is a big deal, I guess. So now you can rotate video. The Photos app has gotten redesigned. Now it shows you everything in a bigger or smaller format, kind of like a collage format. The videos play automatically without you having to touch on them, which makes it easier to figure out what's inside of the videos you're looking at. So the overall redesign looks pretty nice. And also, to be honest, this kind of makes me want an iPhone more than I already do. Now, we have all seen the memes about AirPods, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's so many memes just about that already. This functionality, you can now do audio sharing with your AirPods. So for instance, if you're watching a movie or you're listening to a podcast and you want to be able to share the audio, you can literally, with someone else who has iPods, you can touch the other phone. But I'm not exactly sure how they implemented it or how you would do it. I think they said, but I'm not sure. You can, I guess you would tap the other person's phone and now their AirPods are playing the same music or podcast that you're listening to. That is actually the coolest thing ever. Now, a lot of people probably won't even use it, forget about it, or care about it. I like small little simple things like that, and I think that is one of the coolest things ever, that you can easily and simply just tap and now the other person is listening to your music. I don't know how many people can do it at once or how many people you can share that experience with. Still overall amazing. I like the thought, I like the innovation that going into that. I think it's really cool. Now you can also extend this to what they're calling handoff, to where if you walk inside, you're listening to an audiobook, music, or anything like that, you can put the phone right next to your Apple HomePod and it will continue to play that, and basically you just hand it off to the HomePod and what it sounds like. There is also a redesign to the CarPlay app if you guys do have that, and it also extends availability to the third-party apps like Waze and other apps that you might use. Now the last big thing, now there were some other things that I don't really want to touch on, such as the new Mac Pro. They announced that. I'm not too into that because I don't know too much about the Mac Pro in general, so I didn't want to talk too much about that and tell you about all the specs and everything like that. But a lot of people have been waiting for that redesign and refresh, so it's great to see that they have that. But the last great thing that I also touched on in my other video is the fact that they now have the multi-functionality for the iPad. Now, they didn't go too extensive into what it can actually do. I don't know if it's gonna be more functionality based, like some tablets, like a Samsung device or something like that, where you can run simultaneous apps literally all at the exact same time. I'm talking 7 to 8 apps at the same time and be able to switch between them. But they did make an account to say, hey, you can open 2 notes at one time. And they didn't really go anything past that. I could be wrong, but it's great to see that we are seeing some extended functionality to these iPads because they desperately needed it. They're also getting their own update / ecosystem called the iPadOS, which they very much needed because the functionality between the iPad and the iPhone was too similar, even though the iPad was more than capable of doing everything that you threw at it, which once again I touched on in a previous video, link down below. But yeah, this update seemed pretty cool. Once again, there are some things that I left out simply because they weren't very necessary, or it was because it was simply like catching up to what other manufacturers have already done. But yeah, this update looks pretty cool. I mean, we're looking at a dark mode, which we've been looking for a long time. The Apple Watch finally has its own app store and you can stream services on it. You can literally leave your iPhone at home now and just go out with your Apple Watch and you'll be completely fine. You can now rotate videos in the camera if that's what you really want, so it's good to see that. And we are also seeing some redesigned functionality and overall productivity with the iPad. So overall, this iOS 13 update is looking pretty nice and I'm really excited for it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you excited about the update? Do you not even care? Do you even have an iPhone? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, make sure you click the like button, turn it blue. If you guys are new, make sure you click that sub button, join Innovation Nation, and I will see you guys in the next one.